Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you today? Just ignore this huge ass pimple on my forehead. Let's ignore it, okay? If we ignore it, it's gonna forget it's supposed to be there. So, when this video is coming out, it's going to be 1 or 2 days to my first year anniversary. Guys, I've been married for a whole year. I'm even thinking if I should post it on the anniversary day itself. We'll see. But yeah, 1 year. So obviously I'm in a reflective mood of how the year has been, and I'm taking stock of my first year of marriage, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So let's get into it. The honeymoon phase, right? Now for me, the honeymoon phase, when everyone talks about the honeymoon phase and they talk about just the sex and how everything is good during that period, and you are so in love with each other. For us, it was actually more than that. It was also a honeymoon phase because you know how Nigerian weddings work, right? Or African weddings in general. You throw them a party and they give you gifts and money and they spray you money. So it was more of a honeymoon phase for us as well, because we had all this wedding money that we've never had before. So right after the wedding, we were chilling, like we were living, like, oh, what do you want to eat today? We're going to a restaurant. Like, we didn't travel out for honeymoon, but in town we had a blast, honestly. So that beginning part for the first few months was actually quite chill. More than just the sex, was actually just like an amazing period. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Sorry guys, the light's gonna keep jumping in and out. So, sex. Everyone is most interested in sex in marriage for some reason. So, some of you might know that I was celibate. Both Alex and I were celibate, so we weren't having sex before marriage. And obviously there were a lot of like people who were doubtful about it because it's like, this is a modern day, like, sex is important. In fact, there are arguments now that if you don't have sex before marriage, like, I can't marry someone I haven't had sex with. Like, you need to give it a try to see if you're compatible in that way and stuff like that. So, that's a different argument. But we were celibate. We weren't having sex. And the wedding night itself, I was tired. Do you know what it is? Like, I was wiped because we had the wedding on Thursday, the traditional wedding, and then the white on Saturday. So just 2 days apart. But that whole week had been a really busy week. And the white wedding that they didn't finish it about, like the after party. And that was even finished quite early, but it didn't finish at about 10 o'clock or so. That's when we left. And I was so tired, but I'm thinking, bro, after knowing this guy for this long and, you made this guy celibate, you cannot come and form tired today. So I had to shower. And truly speaking, like, fact, that particular night was just, it was consummation. That's what it was. There's no other word for it. It wasn't even like, it was consummation. It's like, right, we shall now consummate this marriage, But after that point, it got better. But yeah, people argue about the whole sex thing before marriage. And some people argue that if you don't have sex before marriage, like I said, then how do you really know you're that compatible? Others argue that if sex is in the play before marriage, you are confusing yourself because you're compromising yourself physically, and that way you may overlook some other red flags that you normally would have seen and run away from because you are now physically attached to the person. What do you guys think? Like, what is your say on this argument? Let me know. I don't need you. I don't need you. Needy or unneedy spouse syndrome. Now, you usually hear of the needy spouse syndrome, spouses who are so attached to their new partner. They have this idea that, since we're married now, we should do everything together, be everywhere together, And then there's me, unneedy spouse. So, I think most people who tied into this whole independent woman belief may have the same struggle or may have not. Like, if you're married in the audience, can you let me know what your experience was. But I know for me though, what it was that I was still very much used to doing things by myself, you know, and for myself. And I always used to tell Alex, I still tell him something like, I don't need you. And he's like, yeah, I know you don't need me. I just want to help you. And I have to like consciously, like, it's still a learning I'm learning, but it's still a lesson I'm learning. But I had to consciously, hold up, I'm coming right back. Sorry, I went to get my ring. I have to just, if you're watching this, Alex, and I know you're watching it, you tried to hide my ring. And I still found it. Anyway, back to my point. Independent woman, this is what I mean. This is, I think you see. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm always telling him, you know, I don't need you. You know, I can do it by myself. Especially when I'm just, I don't know. It's just something I got used to. Doing things myself, not relying on anybody. I'm always saying, I'm just like, you know what, between me and God, we'll be fine. Like, and I have to realize that in a marriage, you have to rely on your partner, you have to depend on them, and they have to depend on you. Especially if it's even worse if you're someone who doesn't like someone else helping you, but your partner is like, I don't have that issue. Like, you will help me. And that is Alex. He will come to you with anything you need help with. Oh, babe, I have some work from office. You need to help me with this. Oh, I need to make a decision. You need to help me with that. And I'm thinking, how is it that he's so comfortable coming to me to ask me for everything? And I'm the one carrying my weight and his weight. So eventually, and gradually, I had to start learning that I could rely on someone to help me with things. You know what I mean? I didn't have to do it all by myself. See, I'm sweating because it's going to make me run for you. I also had to learn to be a bit more vulnerable. I'm still not completely there. Like, Alex always cracks the jokes that I'm the man. Like, I'm married to a man. You know, maybe I have more testosterone than others. Who knows? But I'm still not comfortable being completely vulnerable. Like, if I have moments of breakdown, usually I report it to him afterwards, not during the moment. Like, I would have my moments where I have to stay by myself and cry or whatever. And then after, when I'm in control, I'll be like, oh yeah, I had a mini meltdown today. And I report it in such a under-exaggerated way that the message or the severity of how I felt may not come across completely. But because he also knows that I'm that sort of person, sometimes he gets it and he's just like hovering, like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine, I'm fine. You know? That's my bestie, my bestie, my best friend. Go best friend. Best friend disadvantage / C finish. Okay? So what that is like, you know, when I mentioned in my previous video about how your spouse should be your best friend or your partner, the benefit of that, of course, is that you're so close, you do everything together, you know. But sometimes the downside of that is that you get too comfortable with the person, that you no longer put in the effort required to impress the person, right? So all of a sudden you're just chilling, you know, every day, tying your wrapper to go to bed. All these, like, I beg. And you have to consciously remind yourself that this is, you know, this is your husband, not your roommate. Do you understand? Like, so sometimes we have to consciously be like, we're going on a date. And even to be honest, it's not even a date thing because we actually go on dates quite often. But what it is we go there like we're going to a corner store to just pick up chips. Like, we just dress up anyhow. No makeup, no cares, but like, literally we're going there for the food, not really for the date experience, because in our minds, we can have that experience in our house, in our bed, you know, in underwear, as opposed to having to dress up all the time. But I have to realize that in a marriage, to keep things spicy and interesting and the attraction going, it always helps to make extra efforts. Even if the person doesn't need the push, it's like an extra, like, do you get what I mean? So yeah, there's that disadvantage that came into our setting because of how, like, really, really, really close we are. It's almost like me dressing up for myself, which I don't do. Like, so it's almost like, why would I dress up for Alex if I don't dress up for myself? Which is fact. But you have to remember that, you know, you just gotta try sometimes, you know? I got a big ego, ha ha ha. I'm such a big ego. You got a big ego, such a huge ego. That's the next point. Now, see, let me tell you a little secret. Are you listening? Let me tell you. Contrary to popular belief, ego is not strictly tied to the male species, okay? Girls, women have ego problems too. Case in point, me. Okay? So my ego is especially tied to particular things and not others. In some things I'm extremely humble. In some things I'm downright like dismissive of myself. But in other things I'm like, I just carry my shoulder. I'm bad at apologizing. This is not a new thing. Growing up, my parents always said it to me. You don't apologize, Chantel. So then I grew up and I said to them, yeah, but like, I never heard you apologize to us. I mean, no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade, but you know. Anyway, so I'm not very good at apologizing. And even these days, when I apologize for something, I apologize in a very tailored way. Like, I'm sorry if you feel hurt by what I said. Do you know what I mean? So I'm apologizing for, a particular thing. It's not a blanket sweep apology of, oh, I'm sorry about what happened. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry for how it made you feel, but I'm not really sorry for what I said, kind of thing. The good thing, the really good thing, is Alex is great at apologies. Like, he should put it on his CV. It's like, apology expert. He's honestly good.
In fact, he's so good at it, it gets a bit annoying because sometimes he has said sorry, then he says sorry again. I'm like, I heard you. You're sorry,
And because I'm not very good at apologizing, I'm not really good at receiving like heartfelt apology either. I'm just like, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. So, now this is the point I was making as well in my last video, which I'm going to link here, where I talk about your partner complimenting you and their strengths complementing your weaknesses. If we both are bad at apology, as I was with someone who I used to see before, like we're so alike, and when we fought, no one apologized. Do you know what I mean? But if I fight with Alex, I'm sure, let me not lie, I'm 99.9% sure he's going to apologize. Even if it was a blowout from both sides. And not to say I don't apologize at all, but usually not with words, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just a thing where if we've had a little argument and then we're both our separate ways, or even in the same room, because we can do that, just not talk to each other. And then, I'll just bring out the laptop and like, we start watching something and just make a comment to him about the movie. Just something light, just like, an entryway thing to make sure, just to show that we're cool now. We can talk now. We don't have to apologize about this. But then he always apologizes, and then I try to give him one of my tailored apologies, just to meet him quarter way, I suppose. But yeah, so that's one issue. Am I better at it since I got married? I'm not sure.
Chai!
Yeah, I'm not sure. And maybe it's also because, like I said, he has also accepted the fact that I'm not very good at it for some reason, and so I feel like I don't need to change it because don't fix what's not broken. You know what I mean? So sacrifices, and I put it as sacrifice, which is not selfishness, right? It has to be completely different. So what I mean by that, for example, is I'm not a very patient person. Now, there's some arguments out there on the internet and statistics, I'm not sure how accurate they are, that show that intelligent people are not that patient. Am I calling myself intelligent? Yes, I am calling myself intelligent. That's not one thing I'm ashamed to say. Okay, so I'm not a very patient person in general. I try, but I'm not. A good example that happens pretty much every single day, every day, is Alex will call me and he wants to just chat, because we talk several times across the day. We just call just to touch base. What are you doing? Da, 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 da. So he's calling me and telling me a story. Maybe he's calling me at a point where I can't really talk too much. But if it's like something important, I can hear it out. But I'm like working. And he's trying to tell me a story. Oh, this happened. Can you imagine this happened? And he's a storyteller. If you met Mushi, story. And very, very often, I'm just like, all right, yeah, long story short, like, I just hurry him to the end because I'm like, I can't be asked to listen to this whole story. Just, what is the point of the story? And so he has to hurry along the story. He's been also very, very, very patient in taking my impatience. I have to say that because he just is like, yeah, long story short, he gets to the long story short. Another thing he does, which my impatience is finding it hard to take on, is he likes to talk to me like in the nights, and you see all these Nigerian movies, even foreign movies, where the guy wakes up in the night or the girl wakes up in the night and they sit up in bed and they turn in a little bedside lamp and they start chatting by like 3:33 in the morning. That's not me. Like, I have nothing to say to you by 3:33 in the morning. About nothing, nothing, literally nothing. There's nothing that can't wait till morning, proper hours. And so every time I'm like, can you just stop? Like, so I've had to learn to try sometimes to just keep quiet and listen to the story. Sometimes I actually just zone out a bit, but some drifts in, Another thing I had to learn on this patience issue is just how to address it. Do you know what I mean? And I'll come back to that at the end when I talk about solutions. So those are all the issues we face within ourselves, or the general feedback or reflection, right? The external influences that affected our marriage in this period are these. So the first one is, and this is a big one, guys, less parental financial support. Guys, if you're used to getting pocket money from your parents every month, and all of a sudden they just cut you off, like, they just cut you off. It's just like, yeah, meet your husband, you're married now, you're a whole grown woman. I'm like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. I'm not a grown woman. I need pocket money. And it's just not coming. So it's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's it's terrible. Honestly. Sometimes you call your parents, people are chatting, you tell them about your problems in life, like, I'm struggling. Like, sorry, you. After that sorry, you're not checking your phone for credit alerts. No alert to no alert. You just hear your problems. So yeah, we have had to like really get used to that. Sister, you are not pregnant yet. Toys, womb watchers. Everywhere you go, there's always a comment about your flat stomach. This life is a weird thing. When you're single, if you have small bump on your stomach, see, she has spots. When you're married, if your stomach is too flat, can you see they've not deformed her yet? That's literally the word that people are asking me. Oh, I thought they would have deformed you by now. I don't know why a baby's meant to be a deformation, but no, I've not been deformed by now. Or you go out to a party and they're like, oh, they're giving drinks. I'm like, I don't want to drink. She's pregnant. She's pregnant. I'm like, no, I just don't want to drink. I'm on antibiotics. Like, sure. And this is people who know you and people who don't know you. Is everybody. I think there's just this general idea in society that it's okay to ask married couples about children. I don't know why they think that's okay. It's not your business. Yeah. Most of the time, to be honest, it doesn't annoy me. Actually, 87% of the time, it just amuses me. My hair is moving mad in a place. Okay, there. It just amuses me, to be honest. It just cracks me up. Like, sometimes to me, it's just funny. Just mess people's minds. Like, but sometimes I'm like, actually, you just need to focus on other things. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, mind your business and focus on that. This one is more like from society, but I have to say that since I've gotten married and I have been saying Mrs. or wearing my ring, I get way more respect in society, like in Nigeria, than I did as a single person, which is crazy because, it's still me. I don't act different. I don't dress different. I don't think I'm even significantly more responsible, at least not particularly due to being married, maybe just due to growing older. But I get way more respect. Let me be like, madam. Honestly, it's an insane thing. And that's why to me, these times, I don't go out without my ring. Like, I was just not wearing it now because I remove it sometimes in the night because it gets a bit tight and my finger just needs to rest. But I don't leave the house without the ring. Like, because I know that I come out with this ring. And even when police stop you on the road, like when they're doing their stop and search or they're just trying to stop your car and ask for money and they see your ring, they don't ask you too many questions. And this is tied to the little benefits of patriarchy and misogyny, right? Because you just see like, oh, another man's property. We need to respect her. She's not a woman. She's not a wife. So yeah, I just take the benefits and roll with it, you know. What can man do? The last point I want to make is having to adjust to a whole different family and them having to adjust to you. So, all the quirks and maybe pitfalls of your personality that your family, your nuclear family, your father's family have grown to know you as, the family you're marrying into, your husband's family, your wife's family, do not know those things about you, at least not as much as your family. And so the things your family might condone about you, they may not understand it yet, and it may cause tension. And then there's now this issue of you having to either mold to them or them mold to you, or you guys meet each other halfway. For example, I'm a very stay inside the room kind of person. It's not to be antisocial per se, it's just tied to the whole idea I keep saying of me just liking my space. So I don't mind people coming to visit me in my room, but usually I'm the lazier person to think of going down to be with people. And I also just like lying down all the time, to be honest. If I'm not working, sitting up or walking up and down, or like working, if I'm chilling, I like to be horizontal, yeah, not vertical or like how I am at the moment. I like to be lying down. And most of the time, you can't really do that in the living room because there are more people there, so you're taking up all the couch space. So I'm always in my room. And my parents used to complain about it all the time growing up. After a point, they got used to it. It's like, okay, this is Chantel. Like, we're going to keep on complaining forever. The way my pastor described it in church is like, it's like shaki. Do you know what shaki is? That meat. Say it's pull me, I pull you. Like the meat that you try and drag, you drag you. Eventually, you just swallow the meat because nothing else can do with it. That's how it was with me and my parents. They're like, every holiday they kept trying to tell me like, come out of your room, wake up earlier, you sleep too much, every holiday. And they realized that every holiday I wasn't getting any better. I was still sleeping as much, and so for everybody's peace of mind, they just took me as I was. Okay, Chantel the sleeper. There we have it. But that's what your nuclear family knows you as, or the family you grew up in. Then I get to another family, and then they might not get used to the idea because they want you to be out and about with everybody else. They want you to be in the in the kitchen, be in the living room, and that's just not your own orientation. And so it now has been an issue of how would you guys meet each other halfway? Would you come out sometimes? Would they come to you sometimes, or understand that you need to be there sometimes? Would it be a complete control thing? And the issue is that in Africa they always keep saying, I can't remember how the proverb goes exactly, but something about how it is the young one that has to bend towards the older person. The older person cannot be the one changing his ways. The whole idea of you can't teach an old dog new tricks kind of thing. But the idea is, if your in-laws, your new family who are older than you in age, are expecting a particular behavior from you, then you should be giving them that behavior and nothing else. So you should be the one making radical changes to your personality and how you act. And sometimes that's quite hard, quite honestly, because things that you may not have to, things that your family may not ask of you, your new family, your in-laws will ask of you. And then it's an issue of, how do I keep on balancing this thing? How much do I want to please them, and how much do I want them to accept me and know that this is just who I am? So there's always that. To me, I think that's a continuous battle. I've not learned it. I'm asking the question. For those who've been married for a longer time, please let me know. But it's something you have to keep on learning. I'm actually blessed to have in-laws who are understanding, but there will always be the different quirks that they are also not used to, and you just kind of have to like sort of find how to meet in the middle, right? So next thing, solutions. How did we go through some of the problems we had? So I know earlier I spoke about the patience thing and how you have to sacrifice, right? So you're not selfish. So how I solved the issue of Alex with time, because Alex is not great with time, right? He's just not. No matter how much I complain about it, he's just not great with it. He's improved to the extent of now he will call and apologize, kind of on the phone, but he's not great with time. So when we first started dating, Alex would say, okay, he's going to town, he wants to buy some food. I think I've mentioned this story before. And he's like, what should I get for you? And I'm like, okay, you know what, get me, I don't know, plantain chips or whatever, this something random. I'm like, okay, when are you coming back? He's like, I'm coming back around 7 p.m. I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to eat dinner so that I can wait for you to bring the food so that, I get maximum satisfaction from what you've bought. 7 o'clock has come. Alex is not here. 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, 10. Alex is not back. Me, Olodo, I did not eat. I was keeping my stomach empty for this special food. So by the time he comes back, rolling in by like 10:30, 11, I'm fuming. I'm starving. And that's a bad combination for an impatient person. And you know the funny part? The angrier I am, the quieter I am. So he just looked at my dad, opened the door, and just got him. Take the food. And this happened too many times in the beginning that I realized I can't keep doing this to myself. My peace of mind is paramount. And it's absolutely non-negotiable. So what I started doing is, he told me, oh, I'm going to town. I'm going to, what should I buy for you? I'll be like, okay, buy XYZ. Oh, Moshi, when are you coming back? 7. I'll be like, cool. Bro, if by 7, Moshi's not back, I order my food and I eat. Yeah? And so that way, if you come back by 2 in the morning, 5 in the evening, it doesn't matter to me because I'm fed. So when he comes back, he'll be like, oh, oh, sorry, I'm late. I'm like, nice, come. I ate, This is extra food. If I'm still hungry, by the time you come back hours later, I'll eat it again. If not, I eat another day, And that's how I solve that issue. So I had to just find a solution. And you hear of these things all the time in marriage. There's some things that you can see that try as you might, no matter how many times you complain about it, your partner doesn't seem to be able to change that habit. Like it just seems almost impossible, right? Work around it. Yeah? There's no point making a stickler out of something that small. No point making a mountain out of a molehill. If it's literally something that minute, work around it, As simple as that. I'm sure there are quirks that I have as well that he's just come to accept. They have to be. Like me being impatient about, 5 minutes being late. Like, yeah, that has to be annoying as well. And I don't know, you find a way to work around the things your partner doesn't seem to change, Accept what you can't change. Simple as. Another big thing, obviously, like I said, is communication. That is huge. There is no other way to put it. If you're not communicating, you can't tell what makes the other person angry, what makes them happy, what makes them hurt. You can't, there is no other way to overemphasize that point. When you're going through struggles, especially, or arguments, it's best to just argue it out as opposed to burying it inside of you, And whilst I never encourage shouting matches, because we don't even do shouting matches. Maybe we've had one of those, but not really. Usually we have calm conversations, right? It just helps to get it out of the way. Like, don't hold on to things because it's like little things you sweep under the rug and then they build up under the rug. And before you know it, the rug's like a flying carpet, yeah? So you need to address these things as soon as possible. Is accountability. It helps to have a married couple or, a couple you look up to with values that you like and a marriage that you want to emulate. So if it's your parents' marriages, if it's, your pastor, if it's your friends, whatever, Sometimes it also helps to have people around your age group, people who understand dynamics of being young, being in a marriage of this age as opposed to our parents' age. Age. And so that you guys can meet each other halfway. It really helps. And this is the main reason why whenever Alex and I are telling our friends, oh, we want them to get married, it's not because we underestimate the severity and the responsibilities that come with marriage. It's mostly because we want other people to be with us and share the experience that we're experiencing at the same time. People drift apart, friends drift apart when they start, growing in different areas of their lives, and somehow what is common between them is no longer the common thing. So if all of a sudden before you guys are both in uni together, so your common thing was try to pass uni, grow, graduate, you're growing together, you're doing that together, studying together, then you go to law school, then you're job hunting together, then all of a sudden, one person is married, but the other person is still living a completely single life and intending to do so. And then you're trying to have, children, whilst your friends are still trying to go clubbing, or your friends are still trying to be like, I don't know, just something completely different. So you're talking to them and your priority right now in life, like, what's going on with you? Oh, I'm looking for a daycare for my baby. What's going on with you? Oh, I'm trying to buy, I don't know, alcohol for these parties tonight. Like something when somehow you guys don't have the same priorities anymore or goals anymore at the same time, that's what causes us to drift apart. And so, seeing as I have like 2.5 friends, I want them to get married as well, so that, you know, we can all get pregnant together and do the photo shoot together. And like, you know, I drop my kids at your house for play dates, you drop them at my house for play dates. We can give each other a break. We can have mom vacations together. We can be MILFs together. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is why I want people to get married as well. And also just other people like you that can also keep you accountable, because that's really, really important. The final point in this video is putting God at the center of the marriage, because as the Bible says, a threefold cord cannot easily be broken, right? As a Christian, God is the architect of marriage to us. God is the center of our marriage. And whereas there might be things that you've, you know, complained about your partner to your partner several times, they cannot change, but it's actually a big, so as opposed to little things like them coming late with your food, it's actually something a lot bigger. I don't know, infidelity, violence, you know, something much, much bigger. You go back to God. You go back to the architect of the marriage. You go back to the founder of it, and you plead your case to him. You beg him. You cry to him. He is the boss of your husband. He is the boss of your wife. He will fix it up if he wants to. Okay? So it's important for us to have God and always remember that he's at the center of our marriage. We pray together. We have a family altar. It helps us to take stock of our lives, of our progress individually and together as a family spiritually. It ensures that we are growing in the right path and God is blessing our actions. And so that is it for our first year of marriage. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see more videos on these kind of topics, please let me know. Also, I got an idea from my best friend about doing something like an agony section, something where like matters of relationships or maybe career or anything like that. A couple of people sending questions, and then after every video I answer 2 or 3 questions, you know, with advice or whatever. I'm a bit skeptical, obviously, because I don't think I know that much. Like, if there's anything I know, is the fact that I know nothing. But like I said before, I'm often being asked for advice. And so if this is something you guys want to see or something you'd be interested in, just let me know. If it's not, don't even worry about it. Like, you know, like, it's not like my flagship pet project that's going to break my heart. It's going to be fine. But just let me know if this is something that you might be interested in, like a little advice column at the end of each video. So if you also like this series, again, like I mentioned, I know this is a long video, sorry. If you like this series, I'm thinking of doing the next video still on this series. Like, it's going to be called something like, So You Think You're Ready to Get Married. Do you get like, the whole idea? Like, you know, signs that you're not ready to get married or signs you're ready to get married. If this is something you also want to see, let me know. If you want me to switch it up again and do something else, just say something else, right? That's all. And I'll take the idea. But yeah, guys, thank you. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. You know the drill. Yeah. Follow my Instagram page. You know, turn on your push notifications so you're informed when my videos come up. And I will see you next time. Peace.